Welcome back to the interactive segment, and we're here to send our text messages, send our Facebook comments and tweets to Efua Kwarison. Efua.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. We're switching over from what, filth to talk about
sanitation.
We're talking education.
Education.
Yeah.
You should speak like patois, you know what I mean? Education.
Education.
Respect. So what's happening? People are failing.
Well, you know, there's been an update. Okay, so I think earlier last week, there was the assumption that over 70% of the students failed because they came out to say 28.1 got A to C. But there's been an update just this afternoon. So not the over 70% of students did not fail the WASI.
But nobody's crying, right?
Not that I know of.
All right, we'll leave it there.
So let me just tell you exactly how many students failed. 7,442 students failed completely in the recent WASI. They obtained Fs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my
Fs.
God.
As it is said here in Ghana, they bombed. Like, yeah.
They really bombed.
Bombay.
It's very sad.
Well, for those who think this news is funny, well, it is not. The figure represents 3% of the total of over 200,000 students who wrote the WASI. Why should 7,000 students totally fail? This means so many years have been wasted. And what lies ahead for those who may not rewrite their papers? Whose fault is it? Well, my name is Efua Kwarison. Let's start talking and see how we can fix the problem. We'll be right back.
Joy News Interactive is brought to you in association with
Surfline. It's about time.
Well, join us via social media. We're on facebook.com/JoyNewsOnTV. You can also find us on Twitter. The handle is at JoyNewsOnTV or at JNInteractiveGH. You can send us an email. It's joynewsim@multitvworld.com or send us a WhatsApp message to 054-010-9009. The number again is 054-010-9009. And remember, JN Interactive is proudly supported by Surfline. It's about time. Now to the meat of the discussion. Whose fault is it that over 7,000 students will hopelessly and miserably fail? Teachers, the education system, or students? Teachers have been complaining about what they call Facebook English. Can you imagine? Students actually write SMH, LOL, LMAO. This is indeed getting out of hand. I had an interesting discussion with educationist Anis Hafa. I know you've championed a shift in our educational system. Why is it so important that we see a shift in education in Ghana?
Hands-on education is very important. I mean, my columns stress that a lot. And even if you're looking at academics, there's a way to do it. Traditionally, it's the teacher who does everything. And invariably, teachers get tired. They are human beings like everybody else. And if teachers get tired or they get sick, everybody sits in the classroom. Those days are gone. Especially these days with technological advancements, we have to begin to realize that education is not about getting information and memorizing the information. These days, we leave the memorization to Google. Google is memorize everything. For us, it's how we can begin to extract information from the computer age. And then the important thing is this: now that we have the information, how do we use it? So there has to be, when we talk about reforms now, reforms is not shifting from 3 years or 4 years or nothing like that. It has to be a cognitive reform. This is the information I have. What is it that I can do with it to make my situation, to make me a better human being who is economically and psychologically independent, how I can help my community, how I can add value to the information that we have. But rote learning, where we memorize things and then we produce those things and we get certificates loaded with theories, those things are not working anymore. They are not working anywhere. So I don't see why we still continue that in Ghana.
Okay, so are we making a fuss though? Would you say we are making a fuss that, you know, everyone must necessarily pass their SSC exams or something? Because, I mean, is it a must that everyone who goes through the education system must get out of there, then go to a tertiary institution?
You know, okay, now what I would say is that it's not a must, but it's preferred. You know, when you have the ability to, let's say, read about the great people of this country, you have the ability to read about Kwejo Agri. It's a bonus. If we're able to read about Kwame Nkrumah and what he stood for, it's a bonus. We need information from the internet these days. You know, no human being exists as an island, or we can't exist in a vacuum. So that we really need to be acting locally, but we need to have an idea of the bigger picture.
But then wouldn't you say that it should then be provided for in a basic education?
But the best education is not the one that's provided for you. It's the one that you go up for yourself. There's a difference between receiving education and earning it. Everybody has to have the capability of earning. I'll give you a classic example. If you look at Bill Gates, for example, he didn't process himself through the traditional education system, but he had enough. The same with Steve Jobs. He had enough to progress on his own, to progress where he became as big as the institutions that were raising him. But the basic education was there. It's very difficult to progress in the 21st century on the basis of illiteracy. That's very difficult, and I wouldn't want that for anybody else. You know, there are those, frankly, after high school, if the high school processes were good enough, a person can take it upon themselves to embark on some other vocation, some other activity, but invariably, someone will invite you to come and speak about what it is that you do, to come and give us an idea of what it is that you do. You have to begin to articulate your methods so that young people can come to you as a mentor.
And our educational system is not providing that.
There's a cognitive type of education and there's the affective type of education. Cognitive is where you read, you understand it, and you answer questions, and you're able to do basic mathematics and so on. Then there's the affective type of education, which is a lot of people are oriented that way, like the confidence to try something new, the confidence to make a mistake and learn from your mistake, your confidence to say that, look, this is a vision that I have, and I'm going to pursue it with or without university degree.
And this is what our educational system doesn't offer.
That is the thing. You know, something that I've also seen about Ghana students is that we tend to become a bit too passive. You know, passive in a sense that we sit and we wait to be told what to do. And when we've done it, we sit some more. And then we are told what to do, and when we are finished, we come and sit some more. That is a part of the education system that has to change.
Well, Emmanuel Kofi joins me via the telephone. He's a student who wrote in this year's WASSCE. Welcome to Join News Interactive, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
So, Emmanuel, tell us, how tough was the exam?
For me, I wouldn't say my exams or our exams was very tough when I look at what we had as our questions in our exam.
So, first of all, give us a bit of background. What subjects did you study?
Okay, I'm a general science student.
Okay.
And my electives are chemistry, biology, physics, and elective math.
Okay. So, how well did you perform in the WASSCE?
With the results I had, although I performed very well, but it was not that well. Yeah.
And what do you mean when you say not that well?
To my expectation, it was not that well.
But you passed?
Yeah, I passed.
Sorry, you were going to say something.
So, let's say I didn't get an A, neither a B, but I had a B and C throughout.
Okay, all right. That's pretty good. But now people who wrote the same exam that you did failed miserably, like Fs throughout. What is the problem?
Maybe I might not say it's only one problem, but maybe I might say there are various problems.
Okay.
Maybe one, the person did not learn very well, or the person maybe don't have time to study, maybe doing normal lessons, chatting in class, and other stuff. But I'm also seeing another problem from maybe our examiners, those that mark our questions. Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because when I look at the performance of certain students in our class, and even myself, I didn't expect them to get a first grade.
So you were expecting, were you expecting higher than you got?
Yeah, I was expecting higher than I got.
Okay. But then you didn't get the marks you were expecting?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think teachers have any role to play in this? In the secondary school system?
Yeah.
How do you feel about your secondary school system? Is it conducive to learning?
Yeah, for my school, it's very, very cool. It's very conducive to learn. Yeah, students have their free will to learn and do other things else. Yeah, the library is always open to everyone, but it's just that, to my observation, most students, make good use of the library.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So for you, it's the students who are not making good use of their time?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Emmanuel Kofi just completed SHS. He just wrote this past WASI and he did pretty well. Now, Kobina Bedu Ado teaches at the Ghana Institute of Journalism. He will tell us how bad or good the situation is. Thank you and welcome to Joy News Interactive. Kobina?
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Joy News Interactive.
Thank you and good evening.
Good evening. Now, will you say that recent students you teach are better than students you thought, say, about 5 years ago?
Well, it's difficult to say without any proper study done.
It has come to our attention that more students are writing what we term Facebook English. Have you come across anything like that in your scripts?
Well, it's a problem we've been dealing with for years. It's not new to us, and it's not something that any university lecturer will tell you is new. Perhaps in our case at the Ghana Institute of Journalism, because of the particular focus that we have in terms of training students to be journalism practitioners, public relations, and advertising, there's a heavy focus on language training. So we take particularly, close scrutiny on that level. But it's not new. It's something that has been going on for years, and we notice that over and over again. But I should say that yes, now it's the internet that seems to be creating the problem. But it goes much deeper than just merely using the internet. Because when you go on the net, you get well-written materials that would educate any person who reads it. The question is, are the students getting access to those kinds of materials to read? I don't know the answer to that, but these are some of the things that I think contribute to what the students are dealing with. But it's a very deep problem. It's not just the internet per se or social media per se contributing to that. There are wider dimensions to this question.
Okay. Now I know in past times pidgin English was also cited as a problem in some of these examinations. Shorthand could also be a problem with students who don't pay attention to detail. Do you have any proposed solution for students like these?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get the question. Do I have what?
Any proposed solution for students who per se may communicate with their colleagues using maybe pidgin English?
This is a very broad, question, to answer. What I would say is that we should look at what is, contributing to this problem. First of all, I don't think that students are reading enough, books. So they are not really building their vocabulary by the time they get to university. It's an old problem, but it's gone much deeper than it used to be. And because of the ease of use of the internet, they just use these things and they don't read much. So, for example, if you ask any student you meet the number of books that they've read, maybe apart from the Bible and a couple of other things, they won't be able to tell you much. So reading is at the heart of this problem. If we can improve that, then perhaps we can make a change. We should also perhaps look at the kinds of things that we teach at the primary and secondary school level. That can help a lot. And we can't run away from the influence that movies, advertising, music, fashion, are having on the youth. All of these things, contribute. So if we look at the way, students have access to some of these things, it can help.
All right.
Improve the ability to, use the language properly.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.
Now, Becky is out and has more views.
Thank you, Efwa. WAEC has explained that out of the 242,162 candidates who sat for the WASI examination this year, only 3.7% failed in all the subjects they wrote. We are out here to find out from the public what they think caused the failure of these kids.
Well, for some time now, teachers have not been, they don't have, good working conditions to be able to teach their children very well. And even as you journalists know, most of the students learn in a very deplorable structures. So all these things culminated to their failure.
When you come to this present world of globalization now, you see that oftentimes most students, they go on internet for browsings and they don't really have time to study. So basically I would say advancement in technology has really caused students to fail because they believe that nowadays, since there is internet, they can easily get what they want online without reading. Facebook and some other social network has really disturbed students from really reading. You understand? They believe that maybe reading 2 weeks to the exam is enough for them to pass the exam, but if you don't have adequate planning for your examination, there is no way you're going to pass. That's why they say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Seriousness on the part of the student too can also cause it.
They don't learn. That's the thing. They don't learn, especially those in the city. Those in the villages even learn more than those in the cities, because those in the cities, they think, oh, they have access to internet, they have access to WhatsApp, they have access to all those things. So they spend more time on those things than really going into their books and then studying.
At first, we had parents having more time for the kids, but this is a situation whereby you have the kids, the parents not giving all full attention to the kids. So I don't know, when they come to the house in the evening, they just sleep. They don't check whether the homeworks are being done. Everything is different from what we see at first, because our time we had parents who always had time for the kids. Especially even if you have people going to school, do we usually check on the kids? That's one question that we should ask. What are they doing in school? Sometimes maybe they could take exit that they are coming to the house, but because of regular checkups, I think parents should check up with that, and that will actually help with the kids.
Most of them we are not prepared like before. Like currently now, I would say most of the students, they don't even use the library no more, you understand? So I won't say that it's from the board, I would say it's from the student. And most of them, they are in boarding school, they say no use of cell phones, but they still have a way of smuggling their cell phones, so they don't have enough time for their studies. They have enough time for social networks rather. So I think that it's from the students, you understand? So I think more disciplinary efforts should be put on, like scheduling more time for their studies.
Some of your comments on why you think over 7,000 students failed the recent WASI. We'll be back with some of your solutions. It's still Joy News Interactive with me, Efwa Akwa Harrison. Now, before the break, we told you how about 7,442 students had Fs in the 2014 WASI examinations. Now, we've been asking on Facebook how we can change the situation, Chawaji Adiedatu says, oh my God, F in all subjects. My advice for them is to go look for any handwork to fulfill life, although education is not the only way to secure life or get security in life. I think that's what you're trying to say. Darlington Lomote says, education has never been our priority as a nation, and this is the result. If we want to change that, then we have to make it our priority. Bonti Benjamin from Achimebuakwa says, we should go back for the 4-year program. Godwin Dagadu is asking, is this a joke or what? No, Godwin, this is serious. Peter Serine says, do we need to change it? Where then will we get the truck pushers, driver's mates, and house helps from? Nana Kwame Poku says, we should go back to the 4-year system. Robert Kwaku says, by investing in our school system right from KG to the university level. Kwame Nyafule says, 6 years in SHS will do. Wow, 6 years. Chromos Daniel Bruti says, the problem is the government is playing politics with education. God bless Ghana. Prince Rich says, that's not bad. That shows how our teachers never teach. That shows how our teachers are. Never teach to the understanding of the students. Always thinking of strike over salaries, and rather not over things that will make education and teaching better. Blame teachers, governments, and the students. They are all not serious. And final comment coming from Abdel Manaf says, the government must invest in education rather than their own selfish interests. Look at how it's spent on sports for nothing. Share Ghana. Now, let's listen to a few of your comments, solutions actually, to the problem from the public.
Parents should take time and then assess their, wards, discipline them. Discipline is dying out today because, I don't know, we feel we are copying the Western world. So we don't discipline our children. Now, in some of the schools, especially the Montessori schools, when you beat up your student, when someone canes the daughter or the son, some sanctions are, laid up against the person, which shouldn't be so. We have to maintain our tradition. A tradition, if you don't learn, actually you have to receive some lashes at your back. We have to go the hard way because the soft kind of thing is not solving the problems. So the parents must, ensure, and then the teachers too must also do their work for the parents. When the parents do their 90% and the teachers don't do their 10%, it's not going to work.
Some way forward to stop the failure is that, number one, students have to be disciplined, not just on their own parts. The parent too has a lot of role to play. If you go into some family right now, you see them that they give even a child of 5 years old is using an Android phone, which is not supposed to be. We actually know that you need to keep speed to what is happening around the world. But the reason why the phone is being bought for them is not what they're using it for. You see most of them going on YouTube to watch some pornographic and some crazy stuff online like that. So oftentimes the parents needs to schedule time for their children to know how to read and study. So I believe proper discipline and enough study should do.
The people in charge of discipline for the boarding system, they should check more. But I'm also aware that some of the people who discipline the students are the ones who also give them the access to the cell phone. They can pay something and allow them to use their cell phones. So I think that they should discipline them more.
They keep on talking every day that they are embarking on a restructure, what. We think it should come out well so that whatever it is that our children, our brothers and sisters, for them to get a very good basic education is critical, so the government should do more.
Those are some of your views coming through. Over to you, A4 in the studios.
Thank you, Becky. And that rounds up our discussion on education. Now, we have been promoting made in Ghana products. But seriously, how careless can our businessmen be? I will show you a picture. Please focus on the expiry date. Oh, I'm so disappointed. I wanted to show you this picture, great picture that I found. You have something for me.
I'm keen on my chocolate.
You have something for me.
Chocolate?
Is it made in Ghana?
No, Swiss chocolate. And you? Chocolate for you. Okay.
That's our cameraman in the back. But that's how we end the show.
Yeah, this is not made in Ghana, I'm sorry. It's Swiss chocolate.
My name is Ifakwa Harrison.
Good evening, thanks for hanging out with us.
Joy News Interactive was brought to you in association with
Surfline, it's about time.